I shortened this, by the way.
I was about to ask that. $25 for this walk around sit down chair.
Production.
We're so grateful for those of you joining us live on Facebook and YouTube. A very special welcome to those who are joining us for the very first time. This is episode 45 of Been Around the Block. Our podcast has grown into something we feel like is making an impact. And just in the last 90 days, we've been able to reach 2.2 million people and climbing. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our page. And please don't forget to share with anyone that might be affected by alcoholism or drug addiction. Our goal at Been Around the Block is to continue our mission to help destigmatize addiction and to prove that not only your life won't be boring, but the best years are yet to come. We also would like to note that Been Around the Block is no way associated with, affiliated, nor do endorse any specific program of recovery. Our view is that your story is your story, and there are many ways people are able to get into recovery. We're setting out to try and prove that there are so many ways to attain recovery and live the life that God has intended for each of us. Without any further ado, my name is Brooks Southard. You can find me on Facebook at Quirky Cliche Name, also Instagram, and then at Brooks Southard on TikTok. Also have Christopher T. Ross on Facebook and Instagram at Christopher. And our favorite national content creator, Bradley Nemo Sparks. You guys should know where to find him, but he can also be found at Linktree at Nemo Sparks and coming soon at nemosparks.com. And of course, our guest for episode 45, one of our good friends and longtime supporter, Been Around the Block, Chad Sparks. How's everybody doing tonight?
Good, man.
Good. Highly favored and blessed.
It's been a lazy Sunday.
That's good. Yeah.
Chad, can you hear us?
Yeah, really good. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, y'all hear me?
Yeah.
It's doing that thing again, ain't it, Brooks?
I think so. Hey, Chad, do us a quick flavor. Log off, log back on.
Quick flavor?
Yeah, flavor. Yeah, we're having latency issues.
Bad.
You hear us, Chad? Here, I'm going to text him real quick.
All right, text him.
All right.
What do you need me to do?
Log off and then log back on real quick. It does this sometimes with guests.
It's StreamYard,
Okay.
man.
Yeah.
Screw StreamYard, bro.
Oh, crap.
Is he frozen in time?
I think he keeps. Maybe he's just holding that face.
Okay, there we go.
There he goes.
So, yeah. So we got one other option for a streaming platform. It's Riverside, right?
Yes, Riverside FM.
You guys want to look at doing that maybe? Because this is getting frustrating.
It's getting very frustrating.
Well, it did that last couple times. It didn't do that. So,
Well, like I said, with Chelsea, it was fine. I really think it's.
are we
Like-
back?
Is that better, Chad?
That better?
No, it's not.
Kinda.
No,
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Still keep getting a little bit frozen.
Are you using your Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
How about this? Let's try and log you in through your phone. That might work better.
Let's do that.
Okay.
Sorry, bro.
Let me grab a cord real quick.
Okay.
Are you good? Yeah, I'd say let's try and do it with your phone. See if we can do that.
No problem.
All right, bet.
Okay. Yeah, hold on.
All right, cool.
So, Chris, you good?
Yeah, I just got my allergies are kicking my ass today. They are
Yeah.
kicking my ass.
It's good old
Oh.
Oklahoma for you.
How's work been, Nemo?
It's been kicking my ass. It's been nonstop. I'm ready for. It's supposed to rain Thursday. I'm ready because I got I got a couple promo videos I got to do for 2 different people, and I just really need to get to work on that. And the only time I'm gonna have is when I'm rained out.
You say you're wanting to do some content coming up too, right?
Yeah, I want us to do some.
Yeah, we need to for sure. I'm geeking out on upgrading my guitar right now, so I'll have to show you guys. It's going to be pretty flamboyant and loud.
How's the studio though? That's what I want to know.
Studio's fine, man. It's okay. So there's still some gappy issues, but it's not as bad. So because I've been able to do quite a little bit of recording, and like it'll pop in and out a little bit, but it's not like it was. So
Right.
I think we can work with it for sure. All right, we got Chad Sparks back.
All right.
That better?
Yeah, a little bit, I think.
Okay.
Can you move your phone to landscape mode? Bam.
Beautiful.
There we are.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there we go. Okay,
Better.
cool. So, Mr. Chad, how's it going, man? We were trying to kill some
Good.
dead space. We're still not great at that because we anticipate StreamYard to work perfectly every time, as you know.
But
that's
I
not
mean,
always
I
the
don't
case.
think it might not be StreamYard, guys. I mean,
What do you-
look,
What do you think it is?
I don't know. It's working on his phone. You know what I'm saying? Like,
My Wi-Fi spotty sometimes, man. Right now I'm on cell data, so it seems to be working.
Okay. Well, I mean, whatever works, that's fine with us. So,
Yeah, for sure.
So, when we got somebody already commenting in, I don't know. Do you know Aaron James Coltis Arthur? Is that one of your followers, Nemo?
nah, I don't know.
Okay.
What's up, Aaron? All right, so let's get started, y'all.
Let's do it. So,
So-
Chad,
Do it.
yeah, go ahead, Nemo.
Okay, so Chad, how much time you got sober?
Man, February 7th, 2017. So I just celebrated 8 years.
Nice,
Hell
nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
What for the viewers out there? What was Chad Sparks' drug of choice?
Man, opiates. And then once I started using intravenously, man, it was anything I could put in it. But opiates has always been my favorite, man. I like to combine all the chemicals and just get completely obliterated, falling out. I mean, that was my favorite state of being, you know?
Yeah, see, me too. Opiates was my thing too, and mine was because opiates it would hype me up, you know,
Mm.
just like meth, but with opiates I could go to sleep when it was time to go to sleep. The
Yeah.
only difference was it was so horrible when I would wake up and didn't have it, you know.
Yeah.
Whereas meth, I would just keep sleeping. So that was. So let's talk about it, man. When did you first? What introduced you to this life?
So, man, the household I grew up in, man, my dad, it was a alcoholic and drug addicted home, and domestic violence home, all those kind of things, and it was prominent in all of my family members. That's just what they was doing, you know. My dad selling drugs, people all the time coming over, and man, when my dad went to prison, my mom kind of lost the ability to have much control over me, and I kind of did whatever I wanted. And I took my first drink at 9 and started smoking weed regularly, 13 years old, and then any chemical that came my way, you know what I mean, I was about it. And
You said drug addicted home. It was your mom? Is that included in that, or was it just your dad?
so my mom, not so much. When she had all those kids, she quit. You know, well, she quit on the third kid. She quit drinking. But you know, it was just a real, like I said, man, domestic and just kind of a really dysfunctional home, you know.
Where did you grow up?
So I was born in Bethany, and I went to school and everything in Yukon. So around that area, man, Lake Overholser was my stomping grounds around that area.
Yeah, you right. That's right around where I live. Right
Yeah.
now. That's what's
Right
up.
on.
So you started using at a young age. You say you grew it was just your dad in the house?
No. When my dad went to prison, my dad was in and out of prison a lot, man, growing up, and my mom was doing the best she could raising 4 kids on her own.
Okay. And what do you
And
fall in the sibling line? What are you, oldest, youngest?
yeah, I'm the oldest of the 4. Got
Okay.
2 younger brothers and a younger sister.
Okay. So, how old were you when things started getting real bad?
And by the time I was 14, 15, I was already having run-ins with the law and getting arrested and going to juvenile facilities. And man, I mean, it was, alcohol wasn't so easy to get. And that was kind of my first love there. So, man, I had to steal it. We'd run into stores, grab a couple cases of beer and run out the door. And, but, so that's kind of, I was already doing really, really scandalous, sketchy things about 14, 15 years old in order to get loaded. And, so, and playing sports is probably what kept me out of trouble the longest, if anything did. And I was about that same age when all of the important things in my life just became unimportant. I quit caring about sports. I quit caring about school. I quit caring about anything except for doing drugs and drinking. And so, but in the way that I came up and in the lifestyle of my family members, going to jail was normal. So it wasn't much of a deterrent. I mean, I didn't ever set out and, man, I'd like to go to jail today, but it didn't stop anything,
Right.
I just knew in that lifestyle I was going to see inside walls, and so that level of consequences that young, I'd say it got pretty bad pretty quick. It was always I always used drink for oblivion. I don't remember it ever being a social thing for me. I always wanted to get as obliterated as I could, as quickly as I could, and I found the chemicals that would do that the quickest. And man, what really got me a lot was I mixed Xanax bars with everything, bro. and the Xanax combination with everything, it just, man, you're in for a ride with that, and
Did it
God
turn you
dang.
into a crypto?
No, man,
Really?
I've heard that from so many people. Maybe that was Valium. But no, man, I don't know. It did not do that to me, but I've heard a lot of people say that it did them.
Most definitely.
But, and with that, every line that I was never going to cross with my using, and I was going to quit when I had my kid, and then I was going to quit when I had my next kid, and then I was going to quit when I had a job, and then I was going to, all those kind of things. And all that ended up happening is I was in the hospital high and drunk when trying to tell my old lady that she didn't really need to go to the hospital. I mean, is that baby really coming right now? Can we wait till in the morning? Can I sleep this off? And I mean, it just always progressively worse, new lows. And, I heard a guy talking about he was breaking all his morals and standards faster than he could lower them. And that hit home with me, man, because I was always just kicking that moral line a little bit further and a little bit further, and it was, I don't know, man, but I'll tell you what, shooting dope is what really took me down through there. And when I say dope, I mean meth. That shit. God dang.
So that I get a timeline, how old are you during this? Like you said, you mentioned that.
So I didn't pick up the needle till 2014. So I was probably 33, I guess.
Oh wow.
And But man, I tell you what, when I picked up the needle, I bottomed out real quick. That took me down through there real quick. It was something I always avoided. You know, I was always intrigued by it, but I knew the way that I got down, once I stuck a needle in my arm, it was gonna be over with. And you know, the pills quit working. Everything I was trying to do to escape me, it just wasn't happening fast enough, and I stuck a needle in my arm, and then at that point it was whatever I could get to put in there. And you know, dope was cheap and did the trick, you know, and it worked for a long time. I could do that a couple times a day and be good, you know.
Your old lady at this time, is she using with you?
So at that period in time, yeah, I was in a relationship where all we did was get high, and it was just real gross. You know, that at that time when I got on the needle, that was also the female introduced me to meth, and that was when it kind of, man, it got really bad there, and it was just really toxic and gross, and it was just all about doing drugs and see who could screw each other over first, and you know,
But
it was bad.
out of the picture by this time.
Say what?
Your baby mom is out of the picture by this time.
Oh yeah.
Okay. See, I'm just trying to follow a timeline because we went from 20 to 30 real fast, and I was just so. Did you ever get back in trouble, or was it only juvenile? Like, was there ever consequences like that again in your later years?
Yeah. So, man, DUIs, a week in jail here, night in jail there, public intox. I've not done any serious time. You know, I've done a little bit of county time here, a little bit of county time there, several times, but prison's not part of my story. You know, Brooks and I were talking a little bit before here, and it's not part of my story, man. Seconds and inches. I didn't have to do no sketchy shit to not go to prison. By the time I had caught felonies, I was in my early 30s, and it was in Arkansas, and I qualified for a first-time felon program, and then caught another set pretty quickly after that, and did drug court. And you know, I mean, drug court absolutely saved my life. You know, it gave me the accountability enough to get into recovery. You know, and I'm really grateful for that. And it's wild because, you know, you was talking about my kid's mom. So I got two kids. My son's 23, active Air Force in the military, and my daughter's 18, and they got different moms. You know, both of them kind of hung out and did what I was doing in order to hang out with me, but ultimately they quit when they had the kid, like an adult should, you know, and they put up with my shit till they couldn't, or until I ran them all the way off. And you know, at that same time with picking up the needle, one of the other lines I swore I'd never cross is I wouldn't lose my kids to that. And you know, it was Easter Sunday 2015, and I've been shooting some peanut butter heroin all day long, and driving and shooting, and my daughter's in the car, and you know, I got that DUI, and on that same day, my daughter got put in DHS custody. And you know, that year, that's one of the darkest years of my life. And in that year, my daughter went to 6 public schools in 1 year, just because of the chaos of her dad, you know. And you know, thank God that girl has forgiven me. We still hate Easter these days. You know, it's been some tragedy on Easter, man, and it's kind of funny. Well, it's not necessarily funny, but every year since then around Easter, man, I just get in a funk, and I'm like, I don't really know what's going on, and there's a lot of trauma attached to that. But
So with the pictures you gave me, I'm gonna try and you gave me 3 pictures. Which
Yep.
is the one where you look like Jerry Cantrell? Like about what time is that?
So that is the last time I got arrested, shortly after that DUI, and it's a funny story, man. They put me through treatment with that deal. DHS put me through treatment, and
Wow.
I wasn't gonna do God. Yeah, that's wild, huh? Yeah.
Hey,
In the county.
Who's Jerry Cantrell? Help me out.
He is the lead guitarist / singer for Alice in Chains.
Okay.
Yeah. For our listeners, for you.
I'm sorry, I don't know, guys. I know who Alice in Chains is. I just didn't know the lead singer.
Yeah.
So in that county that I was frequenting at that time, they called me Garth, from Wayne's World.
Yeah.
There we go.
I see it.
But yeah, that was kind of that first attempt, and it was, I wasn't ready to try God, man. It just, I was willing to do anything except God. And within a couple of weeks out of treatment, man, I had a new stack of felonies. And I'm pretty sure that picture you put up there, I got arrested in a hotel. I've been going for days, man. Meth and Roxy's just going and bars. And when the cops came, man, I thought that I'd hide all the drugs, and where I chose to hide them was in my pocket. And they took one look at me. Hey, for all those, that's not a good place to hide the drugs when the cops are coming. Okay, find somewhere better if you're gonna do it. But yeah, man, and I was back in jail with another stack of felonies, saying, how the hell did this happen again? I wish I could say that I got out and stayed sober again. I didn't. I just wasn't done, man. I didn't know there was any other way to live. That's the thing. And in my life, my entire experiences growing up, I didn't have any examples of people getting and staying sober.
Mm.
You died and you went to prison. That was it. And I was on my way to one of those. Whichever way my lifestyle took me out, it was going to be one of those. And I embraced it at that point in time. It was like, let's just get this over with. I can't live like this anymore, but I'm too chicken shit to pull the trigger. That was what that life looked like for me. And it was just a miserable existence.
Was that the last time you had gotten arrested?
That was the last time I got arrested. Yeah.
Okay, so this was 2017, correct?
That last time I got arrested was in 2015.
Okay.
It took me a while. So I pled into drug court 2016, made it through, and then toward the end of 2016, man, I found out I had a disease. I don't know if it was, ulcerative colitis or Crohn's or whatever. And man, I got really sick, and I had another relapse in there.
Is that where this other picture comes in?
Pull it up. Let's see.
Yep.
Okay.
That right there was the last day I got high, and I was already going through the process in the hospitals, and that deal over my arm, man, I had an IV in my arm at all times. I couldn't eat. I was on, I had a backpack, bro, and it had these, they called it lipids, and I'd like put some vitamins in there, and then that's how I ate. I was on a no food diet. I could drink water, and then all of my nutrients came through IV of this bag of, they called it lipids. And it was like that for several months, man. And what happened on that day right there, I sat and I looked at where my life was at, and I just knew, man, I can't keep living like this anymore. That period of time, man, dude, I was breaking down Wellbutrin and putting it in a in my IV, bro. Like,
Wow.
I would hit that stuff and I would fall out, hit the ground, and start having a seizure. And as soon as I would come to, I would get up and do it again, man. Just time after time, and pretty sure I got some brain from that, a little bit of lasting effects, man. I don't formulate sentences as quick as I used to, but on that day, and what I knew needed to happen was I knew I needed to go in for a major surgery, and that was the first thing I needed to do to start getting better. And I had I had that major surgery, and it's surgery that's changed my entire life, and a process that I didn't know that I was going to survive. I really thought I was going to die in that hospital. That period from the end of 2016 to March 2017, about 5 out of those 6 months I spent hospitalized.
Is that going to be kind of the reference to this last picture you gave me?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and that's again just the slow digression down, man.
Did you find out what it was that you were suffering from? Was that Crohn's?
So I have other what's that called? Autoimmune diseases. So the difference is in Crohn's, it can go anywhere from entrance to exit, and colitis stays in your large intestine.
Okay.
When they took my large intestine, I haven't had any more complications, but it's there. Nobody in my family has it. It's not necessarily a genetic thing. It's hard to say that it's not a result of my drug and alcohol use and all of the, who knows. But that, and when I look back on that, that was another time where, if I count all overdoses and all those kinds of things, the amount of times that every single member of my family has looked at me in a hospital bed wondering if it's going to be the last time they seen me. And
now you said that you had never been influenced by anybody in your life about recovery. So when you were totally fed up and you knew something had to change, who was it that introduced you to recovery? Was it just that you had to go to meetings because of drug court, or what was it? What was it that clicked?
So, man, there was a guy that came into the treatment center I was in. When I pled into drug court, I told them, I said, initially they had my paperwork messed up, and they said, well, come back in a month. And I said, I don't think you understand. You have me right here in front of you right now. I need you to put me in treatment. And they did. And there was this rough, tough biker. He came in every Friday religiously, man, with another group of bikers. And he came in and he talked about how he shot dope and drank whiskey the way that I did. And that was my first experience with somebody sharing their experience that was relatable, that was showing me that there was a different way out, and they were talking about a different way of life. And that was when I was really able to grab hold of that. It was people that was carrying the message into the treatment centers.
So did you go to treatment here in Oklahoma?
I went to treatment in Bentonville, Arkansas. I went through drug court in Benton County, Arkansas. That's where all my family is still at over there. And so, yeah. But then drug court, for having to go to meetings and sitting in there miserable long enough to realize that I wasn't okay just taking the drugs and alcohol away, and figured I better find a solution. And You know, I didn't go there looking for God, and God was the last thing I wanted to try, but it's absolutely the only thing that's worked, and it hadn't failed me since I've relied on that. You know,
Now, for our viewers that might be skeptical, what do you mean by God was the only thing that worked?
that I tried everything I could possibly think of, and you know, we talk about if people would have been able to save me, I had plenty of people in my life that would have been able to. I had kids, I had judges, I had my parents, I had, you know, I had the old lady, the job, all of those kinds of things that if a human power would have been enough, I had plenty of them.
Yeah.
And I get this question a lot. Why couldn't you save you?
Man, because that the only thing in my life that has ever had more power over me than the love for my kids and that kind of stuff is the pull of drugs and alcohol. And you know, that not being enough, I would say because that hole inside of me, that there was nothing I was ever able to find that could fill that except for God, man. And without that, I was just incomplete and lost, you know.
And I totally agree with you. I'm not by no means. I'm saying these are questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that hole that you're talking about, that void, we all have that, you know, and some of us don't want to admit it, but they stay distracted and they temporarily fill that void with sex, drugs, alcohol, social media, you know. But at the end of the night, when you take all that away from them, they're still hollow on the inside, and because they haven't been filled by the one and only thing that can fill that void, which is God. So I'm right there with you. I know, and you couldn't save yourself because you were powerless.
Yep.
You know.
Well, self-knowledge. I mean, out external influences. Yeah, I mean, it was never enough. You know. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the case in point with all this, man. As those aren't big enough to solve my issues. You know. So we got some really good comments coming in here tonight. I'm just going to throw some of these up here real quick. Old Aaron's been commenting the whole time. He's talking about, he said, God's the only one that's helped me through all he's been through. His faith never losing. We got Anderson Jennifer. She's saying, thank you for sharing your experience, strength, and hope. Crystal also saying, love your message. God holds power and all those things. And, you know, man, I just want to throw this out there because some people bristle at the God thing, man. It doesn't necessarily have to be the guy sitting on the cloud with the chalkboard. Like I had a lot of prejudices towards that because the boys' home I was in. But man, it's as long as it's bigger than you, that's good enough, and that's been good enough for many people before us. So,
amen.
And you know, when I started that spiritual connection, I didn't even know who I was praying to. I just knew I needed help. And what allowed me to make that start is one of them guys coming in the treatment center and he's talking about all the consequences that he was due, that he was spared. And I was able at that point that allowed me to plant that seed. Yeah. And believe that maybe something out there was looking for me, and maybe if that was out there looking for me then, maybe it could help me now. And then my experiences of seeking what that might be, that higher power, that God, that whatever you choose to call it, would always meet me right where I was at, and it just kept feeding me exactly what I needed at exactly the right time to build in that faith and strengthen it to where it's like, man, I don't even want to know what life is like doing without my connection with this power ever again. So, you know, because man,
I'm going to ask you this. It's not always perfect and amazing, is it though? I mean, life is life though. That's the thing, is you got to keep seeking. And like, that's just at least my experience. It's not always going to be
life is still going to life.
Life is life, man.
Yep.
For anybody, because we got to the point of Chad's story right now where he's just starting his journey, and for me, in my experience, and for a lot of people, it gets worse before it gets better. And you done burned your life to the ground forever, 10, 15, 20 years of addiction, however long. You can't expect that once you start trying to right all these wrongs, that life's just going to be beautiful. The minute I say, I'm deciding to get sober. And it's like, no, you got a lot of work to do.
You got records you got to clean up, man.
And but that's the deal. It's like once you get that spiritual connection and you know you got God with you, then it's like once I admit I'm powerless and that I humble myself, then I have all power because I got God's power. I got God behind me, you know. But it only comes with us humbling ourselves and asking for help.
Well, and I love what you just said there, Nemo, that like that you can supplant anything in there, man. Man, I'm powerless over my finances. I'm powerless over this person in the office or what, you know, it's just all the things, man. It's
anything that I can't control. If it's not my actions
basically
or
everything.
Yeah, straight up.
I want to throw that up there. We got David Frisbee, 40 years fucked up, 6.5 years sober. Congratulations, my friend.
Right on.
So, what's sobriety look like for you now? Like I said, we've talked obviously in the powder room, green room, whatever you call it. You're getting ready to get married, right?
I'm getting ready to get married, man. Let me turn on this light real quick. Getting kind of dark in here. Hold up.
It's a trap.
I'm kidding.
I thought he was getting up, man. I was like, I'm out of here, man.
No. So yeah, man. I got a girl that I met in recovery. Met her at a conference, and she's got 5 months less than me. I like pointing that out. When she's going through a hard time, I like to tell her, "Hey, baby, just hold on. It'll make sense in 5 months." And but yeah, man, we both work a program. We both work with other people. We both seek God in our lives individually and together. And man, I have the best relationship I've ever had, and it's something special. And we was talking about that before we came in, and it's just the way that God has showed up. And I was talking with my friend the other day, and he's like, man, the amount that you're seeking God is the amount he's going to show up. And it's not in the finding, it's the seeking. And we work to do that together. And I really believe that God has big things in store for us. And we pray every morning to be a vessel for God's work, and just to keep him in the middle of what we do, and ask for people that we can help, try to love on his kids. And you know, I really feel like God is blessing this relationship, and it's just been a hell of a ride, man. I'm enjoying it. I'll be getting married in August, and yeah,
August what?
16th.
16th. My birthday's the 19th.
Nice.
So I don't want to skip over all the good stuff though. So the bikers and stuff come in, they start telling you, giving you this message of hope. So what do you start doing from right there?
Man, that was when I started with prayer. And you know, from that point, I followed up with going into sober living, and just working real hard to do something different. And you know, I got somebody that had a life, the kind of life that I wanted to live, and asked them for help. And you know, they showed me how to live like a man, and showed me how to live a way of life that is much more blessed and productive than any life that I knew. And you know, I grabbed a hold of that, and I did what that man asked me to do. You know, I took suggestions, and a lot of that work was really hard, but wasn't none of it bad for my life. So, I'm super grateful for that. And, the process of the steps that I've worked in recovery and the work that I put in recovery, the gifts just keep giving. It just, man, I'm living a life far beyond what I ever could have imagined. I was thinking about something earlier, and I'm going into a season where I'm about to be changing jobs, and it's a job that I've been at nearly 20 years between two different times. And I remember when I first got into recovery, and I'm talking to my friend, and he says, I needed a job, man. And he's like, what have you done before? And I said, well, before working on airplanes, I worked at McDonald's. And he said, well, I guess go down to McDonald's. And I'm like, I was running an airplane hangar for 12 years being the boss. And he's like, I don't give a shit. You're a burger flipper now. And and it's funny though, because he told me to do those things for a year. He said do sober living for a year, go do that job for a year and see what happens with your life. And what happened was I learned how to be a good employee, and I learned how to take responsibility for those kind of things, and took those steps toward getting my own place and all those kinds of things. And I think something huge is that daughter, my daughter that got put in DHS custody that day, and that I drove through absolute hell. That kid seen things she should have never seen, just the kind of lifestyle that I was living. And the majority of my time in recovery, my daughter's lived with me, and that's a result of amends and living a different way of life. And that's something Brooks and I was talking about before also, and just kind of being able to have that open line of communication with our kids. And it's just man, it's phenomenal. My daughter, both my kids are doing far better than I was at that time. It's just man, it's a blessing. My daughter graduated recently, and it's kind of funny, but it's also serious. I was thinking, man, if my daughter graduates and does it without getting pregnant, I might have done an all right job. In this day and age, that ain't even that crazy. You know what I'm saying? Brooks, you got a daughter that age. That's a real, like, and then I'm like, man, I don't want to be a grandpa till I'm 40, and I don't want it to be my daughter. So.
So,
but, man, that's all just a result of doing what was suggested of me. For people that loved on me and just wanted to see me doing well. And I still seek that help all the time with those guys, because I still wouldn't be able to do this alone. So.
And how long have you and the new girl been together?
So we are coming up on 2 years now.
Okay.
I think it's beyond new girl if they're getting married, dude. I don't know.
Well, I mean,
seems kind of disrespectful. I don't know. I'm just kidding.
You never know.
It's been crazy too, because I look at the timeline and I'm like, but the amount of life that we've experienced in that amount of time, and I just keep hearing, when you know, and
for sure,
it's wild.
Hey, you know what's crazy is I had people that I truly respected and like looked up to in recovery tell me not to marry, or not get into the relationship that I'd gotten into, like it was too soon, and but the more I prayed about it, the more I felt like God was saying this was the right thing to do. And that goes for when we got together, when we moved in together. Even when we moved in together, I was feeling kind of convicted about, not being married. And then we got married. And I think about if I would have listened to them, would my daughter be here today?
Mm.
So I think it's good to have, to get guidance from other people in recovery and advice from other people, and they might have, your best interests at heart, but it might not be God's plan for your life.
That's it right there, man.
That's a fact.
It's ultimately between you and God, and you got to figure that out with
It
yourself.
really is. And it's like how, all these people are telling me to do one thing and God's telling me to do something else, and it's like,
yeah,
right.
On that one. I mean, it seems kind of obvious to me, but how long have you guys been together, Nemo? I know this. I'm sorry.
5 years.
Okay, that's right. Yeah,
that's it. We've been married going on 4 years. So we got married like a year in.
That's cool. And you know what the difference in that and what I heard is you had God in the middle of that.
Yes.
You had God as your guide. You was seeking that with God's guidance, and there's just something different about that, man.
And it was like, because and I'm not trying to get off topic on here, but relationships is a big part of recovery,
It is.
And I wouldn't have picked my wife. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like God picked her for me because I know what my selfish self would have picked, and now that we're together and everything's coming together in my life, all the things that are happening in my life, I see why he picked her, because she is the yin to my yang. She is so opposite of me. It is insane, but it works. It works. It's like everywhere I'm weak, she's strong, and everywhere I'm strong, she's weak, and we complete each other in that way. And but I'd never been married before, and I don't know, have you been married before?
I have. It was I married my son's mom, and it was like, well, we're 18 and we're pregnant. I think we got to get married. Real toxic. Like, no, don't leave. Here's a ring.
Yeah,
that's my story a little bit.
But see, I didn't realize how selfish of a person I was until I got married. And so it was like after marriage, I realized how much more work I had to do on myself, or how much more work God had to do on me, That's
deep. That's good stuff.
Yeah, it's a ride for sure.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, and waiting for the right one to come along for me. No, I'm just So what do you think, Chris?
What do I think?
Yeah.
I don't know what to think. I ain't never been married.
My situation, I was 22, and it was kind of got married in a fever type deal. Shotgun wedding. Yeah, that's what it's called. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
Right.
Lasted 4 years. That's crazy to me, considering how young, and it was a mess, but it all worked out how it was supposed to. So, but I thought you'd been married, Chris.
No.
He said no.
Yeah.
I've been in some relationships that were longer than your marriage, but I've never been married.
Oh yeah.
So Chad, what is today look like for you? What's a day, 24-hour, that's all we get in this life. It's 24 hours at a time. And what does your 24 hours look like today?
Man, I wake up and hit my knees. I start my day with prayer. I read some readings just to set my mindset. If I'm at work, I read with a couple of guys that are also in recovery, and work. Like I said, I'm in the process of changing jobs. I'm really excited about this move, but I'm really passionate about treatment. Where I've been able to continue in the carrying the message. Today I'm going into, well, not today, but tomorrow I've been going into a prison, and I go into treatment centers, and man, I get a meeting. I answer my phone for sponsees. I'm working with guys, actively working with guys, and man, I want to say I go to the gym like you, Nemo, but I ain't making it like that, buddy. I ain't got I ain't got the same kind of motivation for a 24 that you do.
Man, it's you got it. It's in there, bro. You got it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to find it. It's hidden under all the fat.
But you're moving down to this area closer to where we are, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm moving. I'll be down in Prague. That's where my girl lives, and so I'm looking forward to that, man. I start a job in Seminole. I'm ready to make that adjustment, and but yeah, man, just staying connected, and one of the biggest things I can do with my day is constantly try to keep my thoughts towards God. Show me the way and give me the strength. What would you have me do? And when I'm constantly having that on my mind, instead of thinking about me and my little problems and whining and all those kind of things, man, I'm a whole lot better, and I'm a lot more useful to other people. And to the best of my understanding, that's what this becomes about, is just about trying to be useful to other people. And I try to do that on the daily, and I love watching sports. That there's usually some of that in my day, and then I end my day with prayer. Even when my girl, when we've been in different locations, man, we call and we pray together in the morning, and we pray together in the evening, and that's just been paramount in our relationship, and something that we want to always make sure we're doing, and that's the best. That's the best recipe that I've found that works, man. When I work, and when I was going to the gym, I'll tell you what, that's when I was feeling the best, man. When I take care of my financial obligations, when I take care of my physical obligations, and I take care of my spiritual obligations in the daily, I felt so full, That's just, man, that's been a recipe that's worked, and it continues to work, and that's what I strive to do on the daily,
Beautiful. We ready for the question?
Are we ready for the question? I think so.
I think so.
Question for our guest. Now that addiction and recovery are part of your story, what experiences are you grateful for that show others there's a better life beyond addiction?
And I shared a bunch, but the experience, I'll sum it up with this. There's so many experiences in my life today, and when I went back to my job nearly 7 years ago and came back in person, and they gave me a company credit card, and I got to travel and do these kind of things and see all over the country, and still today there's so many moments where I just sit and breathe it in. Where that was what my sponsor told me over and over, man. He's like, just sit and be present in those moments. And there's moment after moment constantly where I sit there and I'm like, I can't imagine my life being better than this, and I just soak up that moment, and then I remember, man, my best days are in front of me, because for going on 8 years I've been thinking, I don't know how my life could get better than this, but it just keeps getting better, and it's just been a constant reminder that when I keep doing this, my best days are in front of me. And and one of the best experiences I get to have today is, I'm really passionate about newcomers, man. I love working with new guys, and when I get to see a light come on, and I get to walk through this process with one of those guys and see their life change, that's one of the best experiences I get to have today. And I'm just, it's amazing. I believe that that's what it's about, and I believe that that is the purpose that recovery has given my life. And I try to do that on the daily, man. It's just, I love that, man.
That's awesome.
Brooks.
So it's my turn to go first this
Yeah.
time. I was hoping
You're
you guys
good.
would forget. Now that addiction and recovery part of your story, what experiences are you grateful for that show there are others that are a better life beyond addiction? Okay. I've actually thought about this, and really anybody that knew me from before, anybody that kind of knows the lifestyle that I live, man, is all of the experiences, because I'm uniquely qualified to be able to reach, like as Chad says, the newcomer or people in H&Is. I look like I'm pretty well put together now, but when I get to talking about my story and what all I came from, it's like I said, I can give people hope. Like I said, I've mentioned this before. I've had people from Tulsa reach out to me like, damn, if you can do it, I mean, I can do it, no problem. So like I said, it's really all the experiences, man. Like I said, I feel like I'm uniquely qualified to help people get into this thing, because if I can do it, like I said, like they said, I feel like anybody could do it, because I was pretty fucking hopeless. So who's next?
Chris.
Man, I'm more. And this is gonna sound weird. Most people are like, "What the fuck?" But I'm more of like, I'm actually grateful that I went to prison. It's one of the things that really helped show me. Like the first time I went to prison, it was like helmet on, I'm fucking crash dummy, and then the second time it was like, man, this shit that you're doing is not working. And like if you go back and look at all the times I've been arrested over and over and over again, it's just I look at it now and I get calls from people all the time and they're all like, man, like how the hell did you do it? I was like, shit. I had to start praying to God, man. Like, I was always thought I was by myself, especially in the beginning of stages of my recovery. When I was just sober, I could say that. But once I sat down with somebody and I realized that I didn't have to do this by myself. I could have somebody help me with it. It really helped my recovery along a lot. And I just look at it like, you don't got to be miserable by yourself. You don't, you can have somebody drag you down and all, but now I look at it now, it's like, I got a group of guys that I can call. I can pick up my phone, text anybody, and they're gonna respond to me in a matter of seconds, no matter who it is that I fucking know. And it just shows that, because you hit up people in your addiction, they don't ever answer the phone, especially the plug. But I got friends now that I can rely on, and fucking they're gonna answer the phone. They're gonna show me that there is other people out there that actually do care about what the hell I'm going through. And they're not even necessarily. I'm not necessarily talking about family, because I got friends out here that I'm closer to than family. What about you, Nemo?
Now that addiction and recovery are part of your story, what experiences are you grateful for that show others there's a better life beyond addiction? I have a lot, but I would say when I first got sober, I had this plan of what my life was going to look like. I had it all planned out. This is what Nemo is going to look like sober. And I can truly say that God had other plans, and it's way better than what I could have thought of. But I would say all the things that I've gotten to do, from getting married, having a kid, to little things like getting my driver's license back, graduating barber school, doing social media. Like being a content creator was not part of my plan, and I am so grateful for the platform I have, because not only am I able to make people laugh and they truly enjoy my videos, but I'm able to spread the message of recovery through my videos also. And it's just, man, it's like, really? I think about, there's people out there that spend their whole lives trying to become content creators and never make it. And it's like, I'm mind blown at like where God's taking me. And it's the art of letting go. And, you know, I find myself, even like I say, like last year, you know, trying to play God to control things. And I got to reset a lot and go, you know what? I just got to let go, you know, and let God. If it's meant for me, it will be for me. And, but yeah, so I would say over the past 7 years, there's so many experiences that I can share with others that prove that this life is way better. And it's a lot of work, but I promise you it's worth it.
Mhm.
Well, hell yeah.
Hell yeah, buddy.
That's what I was
Hell
gonna
yeah.
say. You just said it better than me, you know, other than the content creation thing. But yeah. Man, Chad, dude, thank you so much for coming. Dude, we really appreciate your support that you've shown since we've had this podcast. It's been, like I said, it's been really awesome to see you chiming in every week and to finally hear your story. Man, thank you for your time and for sharing with the Been Around the Block family. Does anybody else have any closing thoughts?
Man, I thank you guys. I'm honored to be on here, and you know, seeing the work that goes into this and the people that y'all are reaching, man, it's good stuff, man. Y'all are doing big things, great things. It was an honor being on here with you guys.
Well, next time we have you on, we're going to be doing it in person. So,
Yes.
There you go.
it's something we're really striving towards right now. We're working on the logistics of that, but we are going to be back in person at some point soon, every weekend. So, and just a heads up to everybody, we're not going to be broadcasting next weekend. We have a prior commitment. The weekend after that, we're going to be returning with Rick Sennett. And your question, real quick, let me just read that for our next guest is, in recovery, what has been the difference in your inspiration for the art compared to in your addiction? That's for Rick Sennett. So I kind of maybe cheated and told him who it was going to be, but it's, you know, it's
All right, shout outs. All right, Aaron. Guys, I just want to thank you for tuning in, commenting. And number one, Aaron James Cultus Arthur. He commented all the way through here. Thank you, buddy. Thanks for tuning in, man. Let's see. James South. He said his drug of choice is yes. I think that was a lot of ours. Peter Bujanowski. That's my boy right there. He said Xanax makes life dark. Miguel Angelo Maciel. I can't read Spanish, but thank you,
I
bro.
tried to look it up. It didn't translate correctly. I think
Really tried to look. That's awesome, bro. That's
yeah,
awesome.
I tried to look it up earlier. It just wasn't translated.
Shout out to Time to Go Recovery. That's Brendan Clark's.
Okay. Yeah.
Felicia Simpson. Shout out. Todd Coulahan. Let's see. Sean Miller. And Valerie Oberly, she tunes in every week. Jennifer Anderson, David Frisbee. I think he said he had, what was it, 6.5
years? Yep.
Congratulations, brother. Crystal Jackson, Creedale Young, Ty Smith, and a lot of people on here were I think it says Ty Smith. That's your friend, ain't it, Chad?
It is.
Yeah, shout out Ty Smith. Mel Ray. I'm trying to get through all these. That Aaron dude.
Did you see what?
Yeah, I've seen it. We all seen it, Chris. Damn.
Yeah, we seen it. Yeah.
Oh God.
Stephanie Marie.
Agreed.
Roger Lehman Jr. Justin Harris. Hey, reach out to the Been Around the Block messages, man. If you have a year or more sober and you're not on medicated assisted treatment, Suboxone, methadone, all that, You can come on, share your story, share your experience, truth, and hope. Kyle Myers, Danny Santos, Teresa Johnson. Thanks, guys, for tuning in.
Hey, I want to give a shout out to the Oklahoma Sobriety Network and the Sobriety Network for always letting us, and all the groups that we post our stuff into. Thank you guys for letting us spread our word throughout your platforms.
Yeah, man, that's really awesome. Also, I'll talk to you guys. We got another guy who reached out to me while we were broadcasting about coming on. But without any further ado, man, that's all we got tonight. Like I said, Will be gone next week, but the weekend after that, we've got Rick Sinnott coming on. So thank you guys for tuning in. Bam.
Dave, call this number back. I need $25 for this walk around sit down chair.
Production.
Watch this. All right, see you guys.